Other areas of law that I do are setting up businesses. This could be setting up a small business. Let's say you and a partner come to me and say, we want a contract. We want to work together in this art studio business. And I'll say, I'll listen to your story, and then I'll decide on the right type of entity for you. Is it just going to be a contract or a partnership agreement between you two? Or should it be a limited liability company, which has advantages? That's called an LLC here in America. Or could it be a different type of corporation, either called an S corporation or a C corporation? So I'll listen to this, and then I'll decide on the best plan for you. And depending on whether or not you agree, you will pay me a certain fee to set everything up for you, and then I will stay as your lawyer for your business, like forever. So that's a good part of my business in my private practice is helping people with businesses, which is something totally different from all the trial stuff I do, defending criminal cases, defending the immigrants, being the plaintiff civil attorney. That's all heavy combat, but when I'm doing business stuff, I'm in the office, or to be honest with you, I give it to the girls to do after I set the plan in motion, and I really don't do a whole lot. They do most of the work, and I pay them bonuses, and then, of course, I'll talk to the client when they need to talk to somebody, but I set the plan, I put the plan in motion, then I give it to my paralegals to execute my plan, okay? That's one of the signs of being a good leader. And I'm an officer in the military, or I was. And as a leader or as an officer, you don't want to have your hands on everything, particularly when you have people who are under you. You want to give them their respect by treating them as people who are smart. It's like a man with a woman. If we're in relations, the man should be the leader, but I respect you. I respect your opinion. I want to hear from you, and then I will decide. That's basically it. In business, like my business, in the example I'm giving you, I will listen to these clients. I will say to myself, okay, it's going to be an S corporation. Then I'll assign it out to one of the girls, either in Oregon or Illinois. Here's what we're going to do. I'll send them a memo. I will say, set this up, file it, let me know when it's done. And then when it's done, I call the client, hey, Alex, we got it all done for you. Yeah. And then I'm done with them, and then I might have to call them from time to time. But the girls do all the writing, filing. I don't do any of that. I leave that for them to do. So I plan, and then I leave it up to other people to put the plan into operation. Another good example of that is estate planning. Estate planning in America is very important because when somebody dies, if you have property, let's say you own an apartment there in Dnipro, if that was in America, you better have an estate plan. You better have designated that property to go to somebody after you die. Otherwise, the government could wind up taking the property. I don't know how it works in Ukraine, but that sure as hell is how it works here. And there's also serious tax implications if you do not have what's known as an estate plan. What's an estate plan? Well, we call it a will. W-I-L-L is the simplest form of estate plan, where I say, I, James Patrick Geocaris, after my death, I want these things to happen. I want my house in Eugene, Oregon to go to this person. I want my bank account here, yada, yada, right down the list. Then after I die, a person who I will appoint is called an executor, if the person is a man, or an executrix, if the person is a woman. And that person then is empowered by law to take my will or my trust, take it to the court, which is called a probate court, get it approved, and that person can then move my property in the way that I designed in my will or in my trust. What's a trust? A trust is a more complicated will which prevents any of the property that is being distributed after my death from coming into the hands of either creditors, and it also avoids the case going to probate court, okay? So my house in Oregon is in a trust. So I have beneficiaries of that trust. There are 3 people right now who are going to inherit that house when I die. Now, I can change those 3 people at any time. For example, if I got married, I probably would put my wife on as beneficiary of that house and take off the other 3. I have a trust concerning some of my financial assets also, okay? So I will listen to a client come in. They will usually come in saying, I don't have a will, okay? But after I hear them and after they fill out my questionnaire, I'll be like, wow, they have property like all over the place and they got a lot of money. A simple will is not going to do it. So I'll tell the client, look, you need a trust. Now they have to trust me, okay, and not think I'm one of these dirty lawyers trying to get a whole bunch of money out of them, because there's a big difference in the legal fee between drawing up a simple will and doing a very complicated trust. For example, if I do a simple will for somebody, it might cost them and I get $750, maybe $1,000. If I do a trust, it's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. So when I go to a client and say, hey, look, you need a trust, I need to come off to them as real, as somebody who's giving them good legal and personal advice from the heart. And then when I tell them, hey, it costs a whole lot more, my goal then is to tell them it's going to save you that much more money in the end. And it will, and it does, okay? So estate planning is very, very important. And many people in America do not have estate plans, and it costs them and their relatives who are still there after they die so much time and emotions and money under the American system. So you have to have an estate plan. So that's what I do. Similarly here, I put the plan into operation after I hear the client and ascertain their needs. I give it off to one of my people saying, here, we're going to do a trust. You draw it up. I don't draw up any of that. I don't draw the wills either. They come back to me. I look it over. I approve it. Send it to the client for review. Boom, done. Get it filed. Get the money from the client. Over. That's it.